The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 in Nigeria has raised an alarm that there being an exponential rate of community transmission of the virus in Nigeria, but raises hope that contracting the disease is no death sentence. News also coming in that Madagascar's herbal cure, is to be gotten by the Nigerian government. And the Ministry of Health says they are still in talks with the Kogi state government and the Cross River state over the non-COVID-19 status after the Kogi governor asked the NCDC officials to go into isolation. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloye in Lagos. It is the second week since the lockdown rule was relaxed in Lagos and Ogun states and the FCT, but the figures of cases and fatalities are not abating at all, especially the 248 new cases of COVID-19 announced last night. Out of that, some of the states with the biggest figures are Lagos with 81, Gaya with 35, 26 in Borno, 26 also in Kano, 20 in Bauchi, 13 in the FCT, 12 in Edo State, and 10 in Sokoto. The others have just less than 10 cases. Well, the total confirmed cases overall in Nigeria as we speak stands at 4,399 cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, with 778 people discharged so far and 143 people dead. But the news is not cheering at all after the Presidential Task Force daily briefing today, as the Director General of the NCDC, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazo, says the community transmission is occurring at an exponential rate. Take a listen to him.
This is a new phase. We have to accept that there's community transmission happening, especially in Lagos and in Kano, and definitely in a few other cities in northern Nigeria, as well as in FCT. So in those areas, we'll have to adapt our response to face the realities that we're facing. This is a virus that is very easily transmissible, irrespective of the hard work that is being done across the country. So as it spreads to other cities, we adapt and change our response in order to manage that.
Perhaps what a lot of Nigerians have been expecting coming from the Minister of Health. The Health Minister says today that the federal government and the Federal Minister of Health are to get the Madagascar herbal cure for COVID-19. The minister says that the herbal product will be subjected to analysis to see how it works and how it's being used. That's perhaps some news that is coming perhaps on the issues of the cure for COVID-19 and its treatment. Well, the minister also spoke about the two states of the Federation without confirmed cases of coronavirus, that is Kogi and Cross River. He says they are still investigating the matter. By the way, since last week, since the Kogi governor spoke about the matter, there have been series of debates over the matter, what the governor said, the NCDC, what they did, and what happened. Some of you perhaps did not quite catch what really happened on that day. Let me remind you of that meeting with the Kogi governor when the officials of NCDC visited the state. It was quite an interesting conversation that the governor had with the NCDC officials, some of which perhaps will allow you to see some of these film on your TV, and what led to him asking that the officials should go into isolation. He did raise an issue about the engagement of the officials with some of his own staff, whom he said should go into isolation. In a moment, you will see one of the staff exchange a microphone. It was to present a paper to the governor. The governor said, give it to my official, exchange a microphone and a handshake. Let me allow you to hear what the governor said.
And remember, our visitors are coming from epicenter as well, which is Abuja. And from the daily briefing that we received from NCDC and PTF, that a lot of their officials, doctors, workers have been infected. So we can't really be sure of that status, of their status. So we're not going to arrest anybody. Why should we arrest them? They came to assist us, just like the Chinese came to assist us. So since they have come now, we are going to work with them, but after observing their own rules and regulations. That's number one. So it's either they go into the isolation for this period, which is quarantine, just to quarantine. 14 days, they come and continue their job. Because here, from the record given to me, we are COVID-19 free in Kogi State. The DG protocol was interacting with us just now. He exchanged mic with you, the team lead. I think, and a handshake, which is against the NCDC protocol. So we will observe the protocol of going into isolation, the team together with the DG protocol. I will use this opportunity to tell our health workers, our frontline health workers, that we are going to give them health insurance, life health insurance within this period. And I am increasing the allowance from there to what we call a hazard allowance. Hazard allowance, currently we are paying 30,000 per day. We're going to increase it to 50,000 naira per day. So that they should not be afraid. They should come out and treat anybody that is ill.
So the following day, the NCDC boss says they are ready to work with the governor after that incident. Take a listen to Dr. Hekwazu the following day.
You can only offer help where the help is wanted. Yesterday we offered that help, but it wasn't in a place where the help could be accepted. Unfortunately, that's what happened last night. The reality is, we've had a great relationship with the state of Kogi. The Honorable Commissioner of Health, Dr. Sakai, is a personal friend. We have supported Kogi in every possible way. One of the first states that had an emergency operations center supported by NCDC. We gave the state epidemiologist a vehicle over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, to do his work. So Kogi is a very good friend. When we did all of that, I personally met the governor of His Excellency, the governor of Kogi State. He gave me audience, and we had a good interaction. So I think in the long term, like I said, the purpose of our existence is to support the states. They have the primary responsibility for health security in their state. Our role.
Well, the PTF says they're still investigating into the case in Kogi and Cross River State. Well, President Muhammad Buhari will resume the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting, popularly called the FEC meeting, with members of his cabinet on Wednesday. But not the usual way it will be. It's going to be virtually now. On the 23rd of March this year, the federal government suspended the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting indefinitely because of the coronavirus disease. This will be the very first in the last 2 months if held on Wednesday. Tonight, we should dwell on the concern and the rate of the increase in community transmission, which the NCDC boss says has now gotten to an exponential rate in the country, particularly in the FCT, in Kano and Lagos State. Well, a particular concern is what is happening in the northern region of the country. You've heard of the issues of mysterious death and issues of banditry is joining the issues of the population density and poverty rates, which has posed more challenges to some of the leaders and governors in that area. Tonight, our attention is on the efforts in the northern region of the country and the containment of the COVID-19 virus. I'm now being joined by a former governor of Kano State and a sitting senator, Senator Kabiru Gaya. Thank you so much, Senator, for coming on tonight on the program. Are you worried, Senator, about the situation of things in your state, particularly Kano, and what we have seen the scenario that has played out in Jigawa, in some part of Gombe, and also the movement of Almajiri, the mysterious death that we have seen, considering the fact that NCDC said the community transmission rate is exponential. Are you concerned about this matter now?
Seun, as a Nigerian and as a senator, also as a person living in Kano and representing the people of Kano State, I need to be concerned seriously on the situation. And we were fully involved in how best we could be able to assist our people in getting over this problem. Unfortunately, you know, Kano is a highly dense city, and you could have in some houses 30, 40 people living in one house. And certainly this community transmission is common because you can see 5, 6 people sleeping in one place. And so I believe there is much concern on this. And then the issue inside the city, it takes you more than an hour to get from one end of the city, I mean of the inner city, to the road, to the main road that you can move people around to the hospital. So therefore, during that even movement, you can be able to transmit the disease faster. And secondly, the situation in Kano the federal government did not come in early. But we believe when we came in, we spoke on the floor of the Senate, the President Buhari instructed the NCDC to move to Kano and activate the center we have in Aminu Kano Hospital. Then later we appealed for additional center, which we have now. We now have a center in Bayero University, Kano. That's making 2 centers. But with the population of Kano, I believe we need more. And then we need more of federal government intervention into the system, be it equipment or any other thing that will require the governor to do his job much easier and for the community to get more benefits. We're also concerned on the issue of poverty. You find that a lot of people are living, as I said earlier, in the city, and you people hardly earn their living only on daily works. They come in the morning, they work either in the market or in factories or anywhere, and they are paid daily to go and feed their families. Now that there is lockdown, you find that they cannot move. So people are hungry, some call us, some call our supporters in the villages and so on. And we appeal to the federal government. We're happy that President Buhari, and in particular the First Lady, have sent us over 100 trucks of rice to the city. She speak on less privileged people and then the Tory homes, which we are very happy with her actions. And with this, what kind of thing we need from the leaders. Also, I know that the
Senator
state
Gaya,
government tried their best.
Yeah, Senator Gaya, just apologies quickly, if I may butt in.
Yes.
With the World Bank figure saying 87% of Nigeria's poverty rate is in the northern region of the country, and we see the figures that are coming out of Jigawa, Kano daily. Are you worried that things might, because this disease and the rate at which it's been spread also has to do with hygiene, or very much with hygiene. Are you worried about how this will impact in the northern region?
You see, the effect came up through the system when we have this nomadic education, where people move from neighboring countries to come to Nigeria, and during their moving through the villages, or I mean the forest, we gave them classes to stay and learn in those schools. But it was abandoned, really. And now that we're thinking of this Almajiri system, instead of transporting them back to their states, Kano people move to Kano simply because they believe that's where they can make their livings. So therefore, government should assist the state to create more schools where the children can go on a better form of education, and then also enjoy the Quranic education. Like us, most of us started from the Almajiri schools, which is the Quranic schools, and then we moved to our primary school later, and still continue with those Islamic education in the primary schools. If this system can be enhanced and improved, and nowadays the even government is feeding the children at home, at school, so it's helpful. So I believe that the governors in the north should sit together again and find a way in which they can get a solution to this
Senator.
problem. The movement of Almajiris from one state to movement of Almajiri from one state to another will not solve our problems, because you could see that some are moved from one state to another, and they are COVID-19 patients, which means spreading this COVID-19 to those states. So I believe if those Almajiris
right,
could
Senator,
be tested and find
let's
that
take
they are negative, then you can now transport them to those states. But I'm happy that the governors have received in those states, have received them, and then they are treating them. But
Senator,
I
let's
think
take
it's
a
not
break
a good
on the
idea
program.
of
Apologies.
movement.
We will come back after this break, and we'll look at the impact. Does it pose a security threat in that region and the spread of the COVID-19? Don't go anywhere. We'll get some more perspective. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We'll be looking at the situation in the northern region of the country, COVID-19, and what is being done to arrest the spread of that disease. The former governor of Kano State and a sitting senator, Senator Kabiru Gaya, has been speaking to us on the program tonight. Let's get some other expert opinion tonight. I'm being joined by a human rights lawyer and conflict expert, Mr. Bulama Bukati. He joins us from London. Thank you so much, Mr. Bukati. You've written and spoken so much about the situation in the northern region of the country and perhaps the efforts being made. You also have spoken about Almajiri system of government and the threat that it poses for the future of the northern region of the country. Look at what COVID-19 is doing and how the northern governors and leaders are handling it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Like you said, Almajiri system has become problematic over decades. Of course, it hasn't been. But then, if you look at the northern governors, much is, as indicated by several, they are using the virus to rush through, ban the Almajiri system and repatriating without taking the necessary that the policy that the Almajiri system an issue of access is an issue, and you can't.
Since we're having some technical issues with the connections there with Mr. Bukati, we'll get to him as soon as we're able to resolve and things get clear and we can hear him clearly. Let's go back to our Abuja studio with Senator Gaya. In this critical time, COVID-19 has brought to the fore so many problems in the country, health issues, economic issues, and issues of infrastructure. But for the northern region of the country, what do you think is a major lesson that this has posed?
Well, the major lesson really is that we have a serious problem of unemployment. We have a serious problem of our youth not being busy. And the saying is that when you don't keep your youth busy, they will keep the government busy, which means in terms of violence or other issues. So therefore, there is a need to think collectively and discuss how best we can resolve this matter of overpopulation of youth that are not employed. It's not issue only of Almajiris. A lot of our graduates that have left school are unemployed. The issue of skill, we should try to give them opportunity to learn some skills and survive and find a way with the. But sadly, it's very, very important that all the governors in the northern Nigeria should put their heads together and find a solution to this problem. And I believe they are interested, they are working hard, but I think they need to put more effort in that respect. The issue of war of Almajiris, I think it's not the serious issue of like a war, but they should discuss it like a problem. And everybody being given a position to handle it is given a challenge, which I believe, based on his capability to solve those challenges, that's what gives him the merit in governance. So therefore, it's important that our governors in the northern Nigeria put their heads together and work to solve this problem. Also, I appeal to Mr. President. He has been helping, and we're proud of his contribution to the issue of COVID-19. The effort he's doing to make sure that it is not spreading much across the country or trying to curtail it. We also appeal to Mr. President to assist those states, in particular these states that have serious problems like Kano, Jigawa, Katsina, and the major states like Lagos and so on. So let the government come in. I know the governors
Senator,
in the state
sorry, apologies if I may butt in, Senator. the Kaduna State, there is a case in Kaduna where the government has said that it will criminalize the effort of parents who are not ensuring that their children go to school. You are the Senate. Do you think we should have a national policy or a law against the Almajiri system or scrapping the Almajiri system? What do you think?
Scrapping the Almajiri system is not going to solve our problems. We have to think of find a way in educating them. I remember in those days we were working with still the Almajiris and then the other schools. Because I told you now, I started from a school which called an Almajiri school, then I moved to the primary school. And still at the primary school, I come back in the evening to the Almajiri school. And at least we are happy we are part of, we are contributing our best to the country as a former Almajiri. So I'm saying that the government need to look into, it's not a matter of scraping Almajiri that will solve their problem. It's just like packing those children back to their homes where the parents cannot feed them, and which means exposing them to criminality, which then they will be criminals. So therefore, I think the government, all the government need to put their heads together. And I believe in those days when our borders are more open, you find that people come from neighboring countries and reside in these major cities, especially Kano and those from Benin Republic reside in Lagos and so on. So therefore, there is a need to also monitor our borders and try to solve our problem. If you have a house of 10 people and you are feeding them well and you can educate the children, and then you suddenly come to about 20 people in that house, you find that even your soup will not be sweet again. So it will be difficult for you to maintain that house. So it's the same thing like Nigeria. We need to take care of ourselves first.
Senator, so apologies again to Button. The issue of getting a national law against having children roam the street. Some security experts are saying we are sitting as a nation on a keg of gunpowder with some of these children who are not in school. The fact that they pose a security threat in the immediate or in the future time should demand government immediate action. Sitting at the National Assembly, do you think there needs to be a rapid and emergency response from the national level on a law that will make sure that children don't stay on the streets?
You see, the issue is that the issue is not making a law that matters, because if you make a law prohibiting them or moving on the street, what do? You don't just make law and then do not provide an alternative for where they can walk. If, like example, we have a state like Kano where we do irrigations, we have vast land of irrigation. We started during the last governor of, the first governor of Kano State, late Alhaji Audubago, a former commissioner of police. He started irrigation project with 2 major dams, and he intended to irrigate 60% of the land of Kano. And when he started, the people of Kura, Garu, Malan, these are about 4 or 5 local governments, were benefiting from that irrigation project. In 1985, federal government came with a policy and created river basins and took away this project. And up to the time government took that project to today, there have never been an improvement of even more than 10,000 hectares. Outback did over 100,000 hectares. But for 85 to today, you can take number of years, you know that it's at over 30 years, still the project has a standstill. So therefore, government should look at these areas and invest into agriculture, improve other lands of areas of irrigation. I can give you an example in my Santora area. When I came in as senator in 2007, I found that some of our youth, after rainy season, they have nothing to do. They end up doing some criminal activities. So I started buying irrigation pumps because I'm lucky that rivers run through my Santora area. So by the riverside, I drill a tube well and give them irrigation pump to do irrigation, to do activities during the dry season. That helped them greatly. And within the first 1 year, I gave over 1,000 hectares, 1,000 irrigation pumps. And within the last 12 years now, I gave over 1,000.
Senator, it's a good place to drop it, and I sincerely must thank you for your intervention, and we do hope that in the coming days things will get better, especially within this very critical community transmission period across the country. Thank you so much.
I thank you too for enlightening Nigerians on issue of this COVID-19 and other issues related to the current news in the country. I wish you well. I wish Channel Television success in life.
Thank you so much,
very much.
Senator, for coming on. Former governor of Kano State and sitting senator and from Kano, Senator Kabiru Gaya. Unfortunately, we couldn't get as much from Mr. Bukati Bulama, a lawyer who is in London, who's written so much about Boko Haram and situation in the north. But that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimaloe. Bye-bye.